Good afternoon. Nasi BPSC course 132 Indian Government Politics Block 3 Unit 8 mamangda koi executive ki part ama chathagre madugi lemhauriba anisuba part tu ngasi koi mukta masika mamangi da maruina executive ki first part of it naina yese President of India gi magi powers functions ba to they kanya kana na executive ki power si exercise to India gi parliamentary system da high wasida sai gi adumaya naina khay adu ngasi gi oina maruina focus si prime minister aduga magi council of ministers sida ko focus tawani na hamada prime minister si kanano magi power sing kamai mai to wa se ko hamada ko thamina si ba. The real executive power under the Constitution rests with the Union Council of Ministers, with the Prime Minister as its head. Among the first executive key, high real executive power say President the Kusim Nahavani. Adubung Sagi, President the Todo Toro Mamsi, Ayamana, Prime Minister, Aduga Magi Council of Ministers, my Quegi. Mating amasung may koy pautaki makada president ng sa executive power sa exercise to we have it ato bu fuzik nasi prime minister gi matang sida ko in high si is real executive power si Indian constitution na Union Council of Ministers ato prime minister na madu mako wa kan da high ba kangusina sa aseng ba executive power si ka. The President is obliged to act according to the advice of the Council of Ministers, which is responsible in the real sense of the term, not to the President, but the Lok Sabha. Saigi Presidency mana saigi tawda thabak thoram mamsi Council of Ministers ki oktang makhadani the Council of Ministers si Canada responsible way Council of Ministers na tawiba locally thabak thoram mamsi Canada Madugi papatai kano sigi responsibility thodang si madu kanana Canada tai haganda president da madugi kano si oyande Lok Sabha or parliament ki Lok Sabha hari house da sai council of minister na toiba thabak thoram singsi rai da soi lali hasi Lok Sabha da responsible oyan. Prime Minister in India is usually a member of the lower house of parliament ko aduga Indian parliamentary system gi makhazida India ki Prime Minister si Parliament ki Rajya Sabha ki member oibe ade maze saigi compulsory wena mandatory wena Lok Sabha ki lower house ki member am oige damne Rajya Sabha ki Prime Minister oiga su ma mathau tawa convention ki matungina Rajya Sabha ki sit thado ga Lok Sabha ki sitagi ma se bot le padabani akhanaba matang kai manungda ko sigi koi convention si lai. When Indira Gandhi was selected as the Prime Minister in 1966, she was a member of the Rajya Sabha. Even 1966, Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister, was a Lok Sabha member, Rajya Sabha member. Aduna Saigi, Konatanga, Maze, Lok Sabha, Saigi, and the video Matungina, Lok Sabha member, Moina, Bot Lepaganda, Bot Karakanda, Masi Prime Minister, which my way. The Prime Minister is appointed by the President. He has hardly any other choice but to invite the leader of the party in majority in the Lok Sabha or a person who is in a position to earn the confidence of the majority in the House. The Prime Minister is India ki laiba denga pathap se ki matung ina Prime Minister is President of India sina ma se khan ga daw. Adu hariba President na Prime Minister khan magi mo si ngasai gi Kayani ko president na khaning ya da na mana atopa mi ma khanbagi kudong sawa laibra haiga di laite mangonda laiba president se kanabu khanga dagi haibasi ngasai gi Lok Sabha da majority phangiba political party natraga party singi coalition gi leaders si masi mana invite tawrani prime minister oina nabugi or a person who is in a position to earn the confidence of the majority in the house sai gi majority phangiba party do gi leader do natragana Lok Sabha da saigi ayamba missing na majority na support tawi habagi thajaba leiba adugi confidence leiba miho edu saigi president na saigi invite tawne prime minister wena na The Prime Minister holds office during the pleasure of the President, meaning the Prime Minister must enjoy unwavering majority support in the Lok Sabha. Adagi yamna interesting way ba mana asai Prime Minister je President na appoint tawi habagi porama sida thamkre mamangi bullet point da aduga hojik hairisina Prime Minister na mana phampai dorisi sahi manga gi phampai dorisi ngasai presidency gi magi aningba presidents na thazaba yaba haidare ba adugi matam du phawani sin presidents na yadragadi Prime Minister jama Prime Minister we to kadra haibagi wafam du ni sida lati siba adugu sida mana pleasure of the President haizigi meaning si kai no hakanda Prime Minister must enjoy by convention unwavering majority support in Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha da Prime Minister we mioi sina saigi suksoi soidana saigi magi majority je adum phangaga adi mising yamba niyam gi support si mana saigi phangaga ko lairagadi Prime Minister adum wai lagini habni mai term se loi dibu ko adi president na pam jaga magi personal whim and yani ko wish ki makhada Prime Minister ju lo thok pu mafam na te aduna saigi convention sin ya na nai se ko. The President appoints the other members of the Council of Ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. Aduna saigi President sina su atopa Council of Ministers ki members sing si Prime Minister ki pokta makhada ko khalle habaduni. A minister can be chosen from either house of the parliament and has the right to speak and take part in the proceedings of the other house, though he can vote only in the house to which he belongs. Adana saigi Council of Ministers sigi saruga moina minister amasi saigi India parliament da leiba lower house upper house pa saigi Lok Sabha amsung Rajya Sabha haiba ani sidagi amadagi hekta oibe haiba mase Lok Sabha dagi natraga de minister oibe ade haiba lete Rajya Sabha dagi natraga oibe ade haiba lete ani maktagi oibe yai tabu saigi haiba minister si ngasai ke doba masina ngasai gi Lok Sabha gi member oirasu minister oikanda ngasai ma Rajya Sabha gi proceedings in the case in the akoi gi wangang ba saru ya ba gi khudong sa ba loi lai tabu haiba minister sina bo thada ba ya ba gi aidi ma gi bo thada ba gi khudong sa ba si sidi ngasai gi Rajya Sabha gi khalakpa minister oiraga na Rajya Sabha gi sit gi oiraga na ma Rajya Sabha gi Wagi voting the Katan, Botada Wagi, Monda power like any Lok Sabha Kalapa minister or Lok Sabagi, Magi voting the Magi Botada Yavagi, power to the minor later. Even a person who is not a member of either house can be appointed as a minister, but he has to qualify for it by being elected or nominated to either house within a period of 6 months. Atopa, Opam Manangasagi, New Embassy, Zagi. Lok Sabha gi su Rajya Sabha gi su member amato oidam ado ma sing asai gi kareni minister moina ma je khalle khanba yaay ado bu haiba Lok Sabha gi member su oidriba Rajya Sabha gi member su oidriba mioi mabu minister oina matik jai hadana sai appoint tawga di president tiga ngasai prime minister siga moiga yana bai makhada ko mai khallaga di haiba mioi si Zaigi nominate over Yabagi Kurungsaba Rajya Sabha the Lagrego, President of Indiana, Magi Tonga field up and Mamai class in the high grade, Magi contribution, Masan Iva contribution to with the Mata, Mio Dubu, Zagi, any board left with the up electo one at all. Nominate over President of Magi Power Season, Adamaito, nominate over Suyai, Natragana Maze, 6 months keep period, Manum Sidaida. Both Hagaraganda Maze, Iva, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha gi, said Amadagi, both Karak or the then a sigi flexibility. The Council of Ministers and the Cabinet. Saigi, Yamamaruiba, Yagi, real executive power, Kanana, season I have again also the Wafams in the Nagana Prime Minister, Magi Council of Ministers, those the Cabinet Ibam Sulaiba. Sidaida. Interesting was now the term cabinet is used interchangeably with that of Council of Ministers, but they are different. So when a cabinet minister, the Council of Ministers, when a cabinet council of ministers have a Sindok Sinjin Java or interchangeable waiver. Some manner Amaya, Yada Yawi, and my freedom season. The Thagai Sena, Uptana Yingsilaga, the Hariba Anichi Chenei. The Council of Ministers or the ministry, in short, consists of different categories of ministers. Council of Ministers, I got the Hariba, and also the Tonga Makangi ministers in Yao. I declare broader with work and woman have done. At the time of independence, there was no such institution as the cabinet in India. What existed then was the executive council. Adana ngasai Indiana ningkha tamring idadi ngasai executive council haidana ama sanarami matamduda akhoi cabinet haidana akhoi tongamba akhoi singlup ama adamaina akhoi lengak singlup ama adamaina akhoi lairamde. On 15 August 1947, the Executive Council was transformed into a ministry or council of ministers that is responsible to the parliament. 1947 15 August, in the the Executive Council ministry council of ministers council of ministers parliament responsible. Sumaran Apafatagi Wafam Si Parliament, Putoga Canada, Parliament Yingsin Badumba, Mohammedan. The President appoints the other members of the Council of Ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. Adana Council of Ministers, the Yaodoiba, Council of Ministers in Asagi, Prime Minister Namako, Lucingi, Aduga, Ate Lehoriba, Council of Ministers, members in Si. Chizu President Asagi Prime Minister gi Pakta Makada Kana Ohenziki Kana Matik Saina expertise among yang kana the minor when a minister can be chosen from either house of the parliament. Okay, see Hanjala, sorry. The term cabinet was used thereafter as an alternative to the Council of Ministers. Cabinet ka Council of Ministers is interchangeable or the high. This is the man has a cabinet haiba wahisi kedoba. Council of Ministers gi alternative oina atopa mahut amoina hogi season of hore ninkata matung. At this stage, all the members of the ministry or the cabinet except the Prime Minister had the same status. The cabinet hierarchy haiba the cabinet members could Prime Minister do not know at the ranking where my official hierarchy at the protocol. So Prime Minister is a man is the star among the stars at the by the Masak star at the cabinet ranking ministers in the sub manner. In 1950, based on the recommendations of the Gopal Swami Iyengar's report, a three-tier system of the ministry was established with the cabinet ministers at the top, ministers of the state at the middle, and deputy ministers in the lowest rank. In 1950, the Gopal Swami Iyengar magi report amagi matungina mana pikhalakpa recommendation adimasi tawa phagani haidana mana thangalapa wafam kharagi matungina fagi hum thokpa Thaga hum laiba adugumba ministry ki system ama khoi lengkhale haiba ministry ki system ji manungda sai cabinet minister singsina paidagi mathakta top ta laiba aduga marakta na amu sai ki minister of state si ji laiba khoi ki amangi khoi ji ji anova wasal loriba government si ki mai keno mamang lairamba khoi ki honorable minister of state Education and External Affairs where K. Ranjan Manipuri, the MP, Simana Pyramisi, Minister of State, then a Masina Wagi, Magi Council of Minister, can also the tire three-tier system with the mana middle rankings in Evo. Aduga, Deputy Minister Servicing Sina, Sagi, Paidagi, and Tavataki, as I Humzigi Marata. The minor lay have the cabinet composed of the senior-most ministers whose responsibilities transcended departmental boundaries into the entire field of administration is the smaller body and the most powerful body in the government. Cabinet say kanano hire the cabinet the yaw is a senior weba, Paidagi unweba, Paidagi Masanga Lebak Sigika, Aduga veteran politician, Aduga people who have expertise, who have experience, years of experience in some particular field, Magi. Respective field yamna masana ibadumba veteran politicians in Maratagi Hoi cabinet seko. Loga haiba cabinet ministers in Zigimagi Matodang Sing ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁꯤꯕꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗꯤꯄꯥꯔꯠꯃꯦꯟ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯐꯥꯏꯅꯥꯟꯁꯀꯤ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯏꯖꯨꯀꯦꯁꯟꯒꯤ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗꯤꯐꯦꯟꯁꯀꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯄꯤꯛꯄ ꯗꯤꯄꯥꯔꯠꯃꯦꯟꯠꯀꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯟꯈꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯕꯥꯎꯟꯗꯔꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯂꯥꯟꯊꯣꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯟꯁꯦꯟ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯄꯨꯟꯅ ꯁꯨꯞꯆꯜꯂꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯔꯦꯁꯄꯣꯟꯁꯤꯕꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁꯦ ꯃꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡꯁꯦ ꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯨꯏꯌꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯦꯗꯃꯤꯅꯤꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯁꯟꯒ ꯃꯔꯤ ꯂꯩꯅꯕ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯇ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠꯁꯤꯅ ꯀꯩꯗꯧꯕ is a smaller body ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯤꯁꯤꯡꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝꯗꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯅ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯒꯕꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯅ ꯈ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗꯒꯤ ꯄꯥꯋꯔꯐꯨꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯕꯣꯗꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ The cabinet serves three major functions. ꯑꯗꯨꯇꯥꯔꯗꯤ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠꯁꯤꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯊꯧꯔꯝꯁꯤꯡ ꯄꯥꯡꯊꯣꯛꯄꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ number 1ꯗ it is the body which determines government policy for presentation to the parliament. ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯈ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯥꯜꯂꯤꯕ ꯂꯩꯉꯥꯛ ꯀꯣ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯑꯅꯧꯕ ꯂꯩꯉꯥꯛ ꯑꯃ ꯅꯔꯦꯟꯗ꯭ꯔ ꯃꯣꯗꯤ ꯑꯣꯅꯔꯦꯕꯜ ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯝ ꯃꯤꯅꯤꯁꯇꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯤꯔꯝꯕꯗꯨ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯅꯧꯅ ꯋꯥꯁꯛ ꯂꯧꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯃꯍꯥꯛꯀꯤ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯀꯥꯎꯟꯁꯤꯜ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯃꯤꯅꯤꯁꯇꯔ ꯑꯃ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠ ꯀꯩꯀꯥ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯛꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤ ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯔꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯐꯥꯏꯅꯦꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯒꯕꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯥꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯟꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩꯕꯅꯤꯅ ꯀꯃꯟ ꯃꯤꯅꯤꯃꯝ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯒ꯭ꯔꯥꯝ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯗꯤꯐꯦꯟꯁꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯏꯖꯨꯀꯦꯁꯟꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗꯅ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯄꯥꯋꯔꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯒ꯭ꯔꯤꯒꯤ ꯁꯦꯛꯇꯔ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯛꯀꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯒꯕꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠꯁꯤꯅ ꯄꯥꯔꯂꯤꯌꯥꯃꯦꯟꯠꯗ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯦꯖꯦꯟꯠ ꯇꯧꯒꯅꯤ ꯄꯥꯔꯂꯤꯌꯥꯃꯦꯟꯠꯗ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯝꯒꯗꯧꯔꯤꯅꯦꯕ ꯒꯕꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯁꯤꯒꯤ on behalf. It is responsible for implementing government policy. ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯊꯛꯇ ꯀꯦꯕꯤꯅꯦꯠꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯄꯥꯔꯂꯤꯌꯥꯃꯦꯟꯠꯗ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯦꯖꯦꯟꯠ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯒꯕꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟꯠꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯇꯧꯒꯅꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯃꯊꯧ ꯇꯥꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯤ ꯄꯦꯄꯔ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ implement ꯇꯧꯕ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯊꯕꯛꯇ ꯑꯣꯟꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯁꯤ ꯇꯧꯒꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯄꯥꯔꯂꯤꯌꯥꯃꯦꯟꯠꯗ ꯊꯝꯒꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯨꯁꯨ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯑꯐꯕꯗ ꯇꯥꯊꯣꯛ ꯇꯥꯁꯤꯟ ꯇꯧꯅꯔꯕ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯤꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨ ꯊꯕꯛꯇ ꯑꯣꯟꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ Number 3ꯗ it carries out interdepartmental coordination and cooperation aduna ngasai cabinet magi responsibilities da magi departmental boundaries ma'amsi transcend tawraga chali harabanina adi tonga department gi kenaba department kya gi pangkhai si lantho kanda apunba punna subsillaga administration gi thabak khodimakta yengsinba maipuna badugumba koigi body ama oi aduna ngasai magi maruiba thodang ama zikarino hairagadi interdepartmental coordination and cooperation daiba tonga department myamsi gi marakta koigi mari semgatpa ko taso gasen taunaba ko tengbangna ko hai thabok myamsi mai panga pangthok pangamna bagi ko masi haiba ahumsina cabinet si gi maruiba mathodang sing oi The cabinet meets regularly as it is a decision making body ko cabinet si ngasai gi koigi mai sang naina koigi unaba adugumba body amani ade kaigino ha kana mase decision making body ni cabinet asi government paliba lenga sigi kwaidagi maroiba decision making body ade policy set tawba policy frame tawba aduga policy do implement tawba aduga ngasagi tonga departments myam je ngasagi interdepartmental coordination and cooperation ko masi da maipuna thabak tawibane na mosi am toina unaraga pundaba yadaba government body mo it is assisted by the cabinet secretariat headed by a senior member of the civil services the cabinet secretary ko haiba cabinet ki thabak thoram sing si cabinet secretariat aidana koigi civil service ki ko koigi senior oiba koigi mathak thongba ahal oiba adugumba secretariat cabinet secretary sina ngasai gi mating panga moigi thabak thoram sing sida ko To manage the volumes and complexities of work that comes before it, the cabinet members have developed standing and ad hoc committees. Adagi ke do wa ngasai hai ba cabinet na tori ba thalo thoro map se adui mate yamba ko aduga loina yamna zu koi gi complex ba di yamna kayani koi gi tarai ba oi da ba ko kara aruba maring marang ba thabo myama interdepartmental gi pot myama moina maipuna na thabo se khona ra panina tabak singse yamsu yamba tabak singse araiba su oidaba sina kaidawe maikoida mating oina ba maikoina haiba standing committees aduga ad hoc committees saidana pai committee singse sangat lebo There are 4 standing committees which are permanent in nature. These are the Defense Committee, Economic Committee, Administrative Organizing Committee, and Parliamentary and Legal Affairs Committee. Semgaliba Cabinet ki standing committees, standing committees permanent committee when later adaba or adobe permanent committee when defense ki ama palle action ki thoram haida ba masi yengsanana committee ama lere madu matangda economic ki semilon ki sentum ki matangda administrative lenga pathap sigi yengsan ba madu ki Kaya kari sembok semjen kari reforms over the kala hamen simba yengsen baru ma committee adagi parliamentary and legal affairs committee ka sagi parliament ki thabak thoram sing aduga mari leina ba ngasai ki lenga kangon gi abadare legal affairs ki ka YL kangon lenga kangon sigi sugumba yengsen ba committee hai ba mari si permanent oina lei adugi mathakta atopa ad hoc committees as the name suggests mamingna tapogumdana ad hoc committees sidi matam mathau tarapagi matungna hogi sembani adi thabak panamdu bashanana phangnana ba adana moisina matam matungna semi. Next in rank are the ministers of state who hold independent powers of individual ministers and perform the same functions and exercise the same powers as the cabinet ministers. The sai hai si cabinet ki matang cabinet minister ki Cabinet ki mathang dala isi ministers of state ni kasai ki middle tier la isi ko. Na mai koi sina independent powers of individual ministers. Adi akhanda ba ministers ministry ki makada magi yani koi ki taseng na magi top ba koi ki mathau dang se pu wai da re ko. Natraga na kedawa perform the same functions and exercise the same powers as a cabinet minister. Aiba Minister of State singsi ngasai ministers individual ministers ki SARS independent SARS pubuda natana makoina pangthoi ba thabak thoram toriba thabak thoram makoina seasonary ba makoi power singsi cabinet minister ka sab mane hai sai ko sigi kanosda. The only difference between a minister of state and a cabinet minister is that he or she is not a member of the cabinet but attends cabinet meetings only when specially invited to do so in connection with the subject that he or she is given charge of. Cabinet minister the minister of state the kenner project the no hire that sound a kenner easy asai mazi cabinet to give member amadi oidre minister of state se ko magi tongamba independent charge ko the education ki OBI, external affairs ki OBI, the might of the Namagi Pongamba SARS Puhalaga, Pagitami, Tautabu, cabinet ki Saruti Oide, Adabu, cabinet ki meetings sing the Haiba, Minister of State, Mase Karigumba, Maram Saba, Wafam Dagi, Marse, Yawan the Bayadi, Havagi, and Osida Kayumba, Yawan meetings Yawan over Kauragadi. On a Pausi Tadana, the minor Churuyao, Haidana, Yabio Haidana, Hairagadi, Masi, the cabinet meetings, that's Yao and Nebuko. Magi Hiramduga Marile Nabada. There are other ministers of state who work directly under cabinet ministers. Aduga, Minister of State Karana Kaidova, Saigi cabinet ministers in the Makada, directly go. Namtangoina, Tabak Towel. At the bottom of the hierarchy are the deputy ministers. Saigi 3 tiers go. System begini cabinet ministers, minister of states, and the deputy ministers na last ba. Adana kwaidagi makhathang bada laisi deputy ministers ki positions ni mai koi gi oina di chapchaba akhanna ba ko sini haiba specific oiba administrative responsibilities laite ko adu mai koi gi duties sing laite haibdi natte mai koi gi specific oiba responsibilities laite haibani mai koi gi duties sing sigi marata maru oibada ahambada answering the questions in Parliament on behalf of the ministers concerned and helping to pilot bills. Adagi ngasai Parliament da wahang hangba kopa mayama tholopa kansida ngasai concerned ministers sing mahudda makoina pakhum pibagi thabak se deputy ministers sing tawi aduga loina na ngasai bills sing introduce toraga pass on honor pagi sugumba ofanga mari laina badasu deputy ministers sing makoigi Mathoda Oi Number two, the explaining policies and programs to the general public and maintaining liaison with members of parliament, political parties, and the press. Ani subadana deputy minister singa tawisi ngasai government ki ngasai mamang haigre government ki policies kanana frame tawi ha kana cabinet na muhaiba policies yara kanda approve tor matung da implement mu tawdeni adana ngasai ki policy me anji sugaina takpa ko sini adana takpa policies programs me anji ko government na tawda thawak toram thosils me anji masi general public da miyam da khangan ba sugaina takna takpa aduga loina na ngasai ki parliaments ki members sing political parties sing ki members aduga press ki press thawak toriba me anji ki marakta koi pau photo thousand ki liaison to wi ba NOC mathodam si deputy minister since the Number three, the undertaking special study or investigation of particular problems which may be assigned to them by particular minister. Atopa mana magi deputy minister singsi magi akhanaba makoy thodang sinara paidare special study or investigation of particular problems. Karigumba problem akhanaba koigi kudong chadaba problem khara amina solution puthokadagi haibagi madugi matanga padana naina dana season nabagi ko makhaida akhanaba thodang oina assign toro haidare sinara ko koigi akhanaba minister na ko adugumba dasu haiba deputy minister singsi makoi mathodang je pangthoe. The cabinet is the nucleus of the council of ministers. Aduna ngasai ki Basalakpada cabinet asi kaino kanda council of ministers sing asai three tier system ama laikre ada three tier systems de da cabinet na kwai ki top tani aduga yamna su big body ama way aduga yam powerful way aduna ngasai ki cabinet na kaida wa council of ministers sai ba ye larger kaino body zigi magi kwai gi maru ba wasa ga batare koi nucleus koi electron, proton, neutron, haidana samaina koi atomic particles sing si kaino da koi khaido bugana koi nucleus na pora magi maru ba pai central object haidare ba magi sagalagi ba posak to adu wai haibani cabinet na council of ministers gi ba. Walter Bigehot holds the cabinet the greatest committee of the legislature ko adana ngasai ki cabinet sina legislature gi koigi paidagi sauba greatest web committee nya paidagi matik mayai leiba ko matik mangam leiba tawungam balu committee hoi hadana cabinet sina paidagi supreme body sini it is the connecting link between the executive and legislative power ko hai cabinet si sai parliament da was a pukhal policy programs myam si aduna ngasai government ama kuina power da leiba mathang lengak semak taba punamak si cabinet ki mathodang da makha pole da cabinet na punamak parliament da defend tawdoi bani ye madu explain tawdoi ni ba ngasai executive amasung legislative power ani gi samnabam oiba samnariba maridu sai cabinet na oi hojik ngasai gi collective responsibility aidana council of minister na function tawsi ngasai prime minister na head ore aduga atai members sing siga pullaga council of ministers na thabak thawam to pakan da magi thabak taw gi mawong mataw haitare ko karamba mawong da thabak taw gi harakanda collective responsibility haidana koi punna thodang yamin na haidare koi lon aiga di ba punna thodang yamin na bagi thabak se ba sigi makha da pangtoi. The Council of Ministers function on the principle of collective responsibility. Under this principle, all ministers are equally responsible for each and every act of government. I have a principle sige makada minister krima sa manana pagi government gi toba any thabak krimakta sa manaba pagi responsibility lower samana na ID sigi kenozi matang de ai yauze de ai khamje de haibe yade masagi collective responsibility na government na to thabak polimakta sagi ministers primak sab manana modida thodang yaminaba babo ere phare Ataware, Puna, other Tangaminaba, handle Dominaba, tackle minor the tower, Chibuning as a collective responsibility. Under the collective leadership, collective responsibility, hierarchy, one talk must see, say collective leadership, say, I am an arm, say, Doning with our Mayamism, Ilan, we want to go. For Puna, when Lominava decision to the Semapang as policies and programs, Nandomadu. Mayamda convince tawwa explain tawwa aduga thabak to athopa adai phangpa kogi afaba mahi pataba mahi soyapa lalapa mayam du sai matam gi kogi sumthokpa na thonga sen tawba masigi apunba punna thabak to mena ba punna maipuna gi collective leadership ki ba punna lamjing bai dare masida Mr. Kulimana ke dawa accepts and agrees to share responsibility for all the decisions of the cabinet. Means Kodimana cabinet and law decision Kodimafida Yagadovani Adugalena Madugi the Mata Subsava responsibility. That's sort of Yagado. Doubts and disagreements are confined to the privacy of the cabinet room. Aduga Haiba Sugumba collective leadership ki Makada, collective responsibility Makada, Loropa decisions means cabinet decisions means the Kayumba Yaning the Ba. Semdohanimba, Yingsilanimba Wafam, Singnaba, Azadaba, Yanindaba, Sumba, Toragasu, Yauragasu, Madu, Cabinet Ki, Wagi, Sikpa, Kanunda, Lona Tuna, Zai Madu Tasota Centaraga, Women Pomina, Madu Public the Putoro, Parliament the Putoro, Once a decision has been taken, it has to be loyally supported and considered as a decision of the whole government. Then, as I collective responsibility to the parliament as a decision ama low regati tariba what if to Saikadoba Puning Hassan any sang na either recon for the support of Maduda Ya and Maduga the lip the government gi then high cabinet and decisions government labor lenga to be apunba langaki but decision ni hadan laware madu cabinet and lawpani akoi di yaw de area there cabinet and lawiba decision si all government decision in lawara if any member of the council of ministers is unable to support government policy in the parliament or the country at large, then member is morally bound to resign from the council of ministers aduna the high given might of the karigumba cabinet and lawiba decision makoina semapa policy programs si kenosida the Council of Ministers, any member Amana, as I give Masidi support on the Masidi Yaning, they have a from the lab. Adu Tagadi, I ba Council of Ministers members, Ma Masazi Morel Ganda, so you come Tabokadon, Council of Ministers. Marandi, Mana Yaning the Gadi, Ma Council of Ministers, part and partial Matota there. Even if the Council of Ministers is formed as a result of a coalition of various political parties, a minimum common program becomes essential for maintaining the solidarity of the ministry, and the various political parties forming the coalition government have to stand behind that program. Adana masagi kaigumba same iba Council of Ministers masagi political parties mayam punsalakanda hojilaiba National Democratic Alliance NDA natraga mamanga palamba UP so mai tawdana koigi BJP na lead over coalition government of various political parties kaya amana sogalakanda koi semba dumba lenga amagi Council of Ministers oira phawda masagi haiba political parties na Susanaraga, Kokusanaraga, Uningwaka Susanaraga, Pagi, Utorba, minimum common program. ID CCD, Nasagi, Yanasi, Hadana, Todavia, no money had an apagi, core revider, core decision side, core acceptance, Doga agreement, like Wafam Karada, Madu, Masagi. Minimum program is served by Yawi and a high romance city, Naga Seminar Matota. Sagi political parties is one to Amu where a Panina, Maduda, Yana Ramasang never solidarity Pina Ramasangi, not regarding as a coalition semi-ba parties in the Magda, Mukaina Pass, Munara Pass, Singaina Patola, and Lenga to Wagi, Unity within Council of Ministers is not only essential for its very survival, but also necessary for its efficiency and efficacy, and it is also necessary to enjoy the confidence of the people. Adana Council of Ministers ki haiba body city ngasai unity apunbagi lising amana bind tawakanda ngasai ki pullakanda ba yam thazanana nusinana punna leminaba pham amada punna leminaba haidare masi ngasai ki lenga adu government adu survive to ba madu hingba ba power painabagi yamna mathau tabada natana ngasai ki paliba lenga kuna thabak thoram phajana nithina pangthokpa ngamba matik mayai matik mangam laina phajana thabak thoram se pangthokanda lenga ama leibagi magi kanaba oizaba phaba punamaktu deba miyam da phangan bai da masida ko yamna chauraba maruiba kena bai da re yamna marui bai da re ngasai sigi apunba lising apunba confirm am da lemi na se Council of Ministers ki leiba members ko nimas aduga loina na sumaina unity se leira kanda ngasai Council of Ministers na sai mai thabak thoram sing ningthi na pangthokpa ngamba hena thabak hana pangthokpa hena phaba thabak tawba tawriba thabak tu hena mawmari naiba sugumba wafam phatana tabada ngasai gi miyamna thazaba ngasai gi miyamgi thazaba miyam he masi lengasi soidana thabak tawrakani masi miyamgi khanba lengani gaina bai miyamna su ko tungwa khanba bai thazaba phau madu ngasai Council of Ministers sida bai Kumbam Sena upon Magili Makara, Lemina, open bickering between members of the Janata government on matters of public policy was the prelude to the collapse of the government in 1979. 1979, the Janata government Saigi Lenga Semaga Palingida Saigi Makoi Marakta, Pagi Munarapa, in Tinarapa, and the Dagi, Kaibung Tarapatana. Nangase 1979 da collapse madam the cabinet and the parliament aduna ngasai dagi akoina is the nucleus of the executive body aidana ngasai gi cabinet si yamna maroi ba yamna supikpa ndumba decision making body amani na hayame the higher cabinet si ngasai gi parliament as a responsible way and the cabinet ka parliament lainari ba mari si kamai to ba the core of the parliamentary government is the accountability of the prime minister and the cabinet to the parliament the parliamentary government the sai lai si prime minister amasung mahanga lusing iba cabinet si sai parliament da accountable way ba hadi makoina kari tawi na kari soire Jixoi Rasi, Kevinena, Kari, Aramba, policy to over the Macquarie program, the Kari, Soikre, Hamas, Punama Sigikanos. My Puna Vizara, accountability, my Mathodansi, Kayani, Pagasian Bayado, Parliament, the Macoina, Hypam Topa, Ipam Topa, Dumba, or from a mobile. The parliament does not govern but critically examines the policies and acts of the government and approves or disapproves of them as a representative of the people. Parliament asi kogi maroina Lok Sabha da laisi kogi miyamna directly elect tawga kogi thagiba kogi miyut ngatani ko representative ngatani ana sai laisi parliament si lenga nagi governance ki samantang label tel sigi mathakta parliament to risi yamna critically examine to government ki ngasai policies the acts ka government na pakalapa thabak thausil adagi atei thabak thoram yam pura masi yam pupna ba kai de kai soi ni yengsin ba aduga loina na zaigi hai ba parliament du matang parliament du pedowa madu Yaningde Haidana, Yangi, Dresta, Levaxi, Dresta, Tabak, River, of the Brahagi, Yaning, the Wikan Parliaments, not Pagi, Lay Pilot, Aduni, Magi, Namara Togang, The very existence and survival of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers depend upon the support they receive in the Parliament. Aduna ngasai lenga amagi government sigi magi lusingba oriba Prime Minister aduga magi Council of Ministers se pagi power pairaga magi makhatana lenga pa oiraga leiba leitaba haiba punamakse ngasai Parliament da maikoina support phangbo phangdabado di makha pore Parliament da maikoisi support phangdragadi haiba lenga to kairakani lenga to kairakanda anoba lenga ama semakani adana Parliament sina ngasai thajaba leiba phawa Council of Ministers amsung magi lusingba Prime Minister ba the thajaba leiba phawa the Prime Minister Council of Ministers survive tawani exist tawani. The Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the Parliament. Thus, the general feeling is that the Parliament controls the executive. The Council of Ministers is collectively responsible to the Parliament. Slice in the Ziam higher, responsible to the Parliament. The saying na madu high na Parliament sina executive si control to the responsible by the Council of Ministers under the leadership of the Prime Minister mana policy programs na si government ki pangtok ko decisions le bani high kambu sina pakaliba policy programs pa lagi makoi decisions madai tholpa topatal puna masing asagi Parliament loina kayani ko uthogan da khana ne raga pabata do tana ga doi mai khoi de same ba yawa na che ba aduna masi high na Parliament sina executive ki real powers the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers na by exercise to wani maroina nucleus oina cabinet sina yam maroi ba thudang loi ka adu bu masai gi Parliament sina executive control to ra sin like real executive powers Parliament control the See what from the in reality, the Prime Minister with his majority support controls the very working of the Parliament. And the parliamentary system Parliament is responsible for the Council of Ministers with interest confidence Prime Minister also Council of Ministers power the same the Prime Ministers majority support phangakanda majority party natraga coalition dugi leader to president invite the Prime Minister says maina khalle habi wafong man the pankre ai dadi mano ji hai jegen Prime Minister sina magi phangiba majority members in the Parliament mo support our lebanina madui khudong sa the lower Parliament si kamaina thabak tawani kamaina kai de kari yang sangani haina singagi Parliament ki thabak thoron ji oina Prime Minister sina control tawra by Taiwan Bangada Koina Mama and Kaluri Kenava Prime Minister Zina Magi majority supporters in the Parliament Maduga and the Parliament you working in a control tower. Sources of Prime Minister's powers and influence. Prime Minister give powers and influence Kiko Magi Kai Kaidagi Kamaito and Prime Minister Magi Matik Mangam Ko Nagimana. The Prime Minister enjoys a wide range of powers as the leader of the Council of Ministers and the Lok Sabha. Magi wide range of powers side yamna pasauna magi mating mana tawunga masiam laikriani Council of Minister gi lusingba moina Lok Sabha gi su lusingba moina ba. The Prime Minister's prerogative of constituting, reconstituting, and reshuffling the ministry as well as sharing the meetings best office with considerable influence over the MPs. And the Prime Minister Magi Akandaba Magi Mati Mama Hairagadi Asagi, Ministry Semba. Natragana Ministries mu Hongdong and Toba, by the portfolio since the wider Minister from Hongdong and Toba, Sugumba Miamsi Sinakedoba. Aduga loina nang asagi mana meeting ke amagi chair to bai dare ba si me am sina magi Prime Minister office yamna yani MPs members of parliament na to mati so influence magi layo masai high lo sai parliament si Prime Minister amso magi majority support is na kana parliament si working se mana control the influence so Prime Minister has the freedom to select his colleagues and it is subjected to his own position within the party. And mana Prime Minister na my Council of Minister my collection si kana cabinet yauni kana koi Minister state pahan hai masum ten osi my thanan na bai power si mo freedom mo na manim khatam si laibo wa ado bu hai basi magi party to the maze kam yam strong position de lai have as a party leader within the Prime Minister je adu coalition where pe na jaga single party majority phangoi be adu hai ba platform to the my position je kam strong way ye makha pole mana kana my collector thamge. For example, Jawaharlal Nehru appointed Sardar Patel as the Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister. Jawaharlal Nehru na maga yam na ba mari laina ba magi bagi matamgi Deputy Prime Minister wa Home Minister wa Sardar Patel si mana na sai magi cabinet magi ba Council Minister hapsale adu kai gina kan da magi position je strong way ni Jawaharlal Nehru na ko adu na taba tai na su ko Patel ki friend circle da ki mama da ki na happy. Again, Indira Gandhi had to accommodate powerful leaders of her party in the ministry in the early years of her office. Hamba ke doba Indira Gandhi na mana ka sai party ki Indian National Congress ki yamna masak naiba leader ke ama magi ministries da mana usingba lenga to ki ministry da sai ki hafsan da ya da ba da accommodate to da maram mo support pang di my party is sondar opinion. But after emerging as an all-powerful leader after 1971 midterm elections, she had complete freedom in choosing and reshuffling ministries. The 1971 midterm elections, she pangthoba matungda masi kedoba Indian National Congress. Today the masi amna powerful all-powerful leader mo na masi program 1971 matung sidagi maludagi di mana kana minister oheni kana kari portfolios kama position pahan ni have na simuli kano na simana magi aning mapama mi ama to bunga me nam di kano my positions within the party automatic enhance automatic encourage. In coalition governments, the prime ministers do not have much choice in choosing ministerial colleagues. Coalition government coalition government adana NJ coalition government the prime ministers do not have much choice in choosing ministerial colleagues. Prime Minister na ngasagi magi advice makada president na my council of minister kana happen ni havzi appoint to ni president na bagi constitution ki provision ki mating na tabu coalition ki government ama semak pakans di ngasagi prime minister sina ngasagi kana magi council of ministers how the gi havzi magi ngaside mai mani makha tambalai ti mam ate party chapinaiba party me am ni su magi moi ni by council minister the honing manina my power and influence exercise tong manina madungi yanarama porona bohona ba concept kaya ni koi solidarity ama hamgra koi apunba the unity in the council of ministers so madu maintain tong bohona ba kan prime ministers na mana khaning mi jekta mana khanba yana ta ba apunba gi sai wa tarak ta ya the feel ma lai have the fuji ma thoi ba ke no ni ko. In the Janata government, Morarji Desai had many ministers whom he never knew before. The Janata government ki Morarji Desai na ministers in Kanbangambagi, power say limited way. Magi more seminary regional parties coalition partners means asigi more power and influence. I do not take Kanbanina. I kayani regional parties singi leaders sing sinaba koi na pullaga united front ama semaga lenga se paiyani aduna masi yanaba solidarity ro kai da no kona masai regional parties singi leaders sing sinaba influence am song the wada nga sai ministry da kana yaw nga ya ha sinaba jesu koi Nitish Kumar hoy Chandrababu Naidu hoy ko Telugu Desam party di Nababu Naidu hoy jam saw position ama da lai ko masai kai no kanda sai BJP na semi coalition da sai mana asli majority phang yabni na coalition partners The PM also derives power and influence from the fact that he or she is the leader of the majority party in the legislature and sometimes even the leader of the parliamentary wing of the party. Aduna ngasai Prime Minister gi powers and influence kai dagi ju laki hara kanda ma sing ngasai gi legislature da adi union level gi legislature koi gi parliament sida majority party koi di badu gi leader koi bose masida is my power and influence lai aduga kaigumba kandasu ngasai gi parliamentary wing of the party ko ngasai gi parliament da laiba party du gi ma gi members sing gi oiba moi gi koi gi pun bai dare maduda sumana sai leader oibanina sai maduda sumagi power set power and influence phangya dare as a leader of Lok Sabha, Prime Minister has enormous control over parliamentary activities na sai mama so hai gare sai Prime Minister na majority members of the parliament the support phanga kan the parliament sigi magi working si control to we have high bini adana sai Lok Sabha gi leader moina Parliament Prime Minister na kaidawa parliamentary activities parliament da tawriba thabak thoram myam si masidai da magi asoba mana yani magi khubam nun da haidare ko khubam nun da thamaga na kari to ya ba ya da myam si mana laksan bangam me habi he advises the president on summoning and prorogation of the sessions of the parliament ko aduna ngasai gi parliament gi sessions je saman to ba Parliament from Hamanava Natraga Parliament from the Lefan Nava Sigi Wafam Sing Lapaganda President the Man advice people number lay Prime Minister Yuanaka. Speaker consults the Prime Minister in finalizing the agenda of the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha session agendas in finalized Ovakanda by the speakers in a Prime Minister Tanagadabani. Prime Minister enjoys enormous legislative power in the form of recommending ordinances to the president for promulgation when the parliament is not in session. As I say, president ki power and functions na propaganda. President sina karigumba parliament ki session je laitaba matamda laiba sigi yamna akhanaba ko phibam amadagi pagi ordinances sem pass to the yada phibam amal laba kanda President ordinance semba ngame habani haiba ordinance parliament pass tawraga semba ek amagum effective way habani ko adu ngasai gi laiba wafam sina kaino hai kanda hujiksi Prime Minister sina ngasai gi president da sai recommend to wa dare sugum ba ordinance semba gi mathau taraga ni dana masi soidana pathona bo hona biu haidana parliament ni session lai jinge matam da ko Prime Minister na su the president recommendation to Tower Nammer. The most important power of the Prime Minister regarding Parliament is to recommend dissolution of Lok Sabha. Adagi atopa Prime Minister gi yamna khanaba power mahairagadi Parliament da kedawa Lok Sabha je muthatpa dissolve to adagi can also see powers is late. The president has to accept the advice of the Prime Minister. It is the power by which the Prime Minister controls even the opposition. Adana ngasai president na kaigumba Prime Minister na pireba pautaki makhada pagi Lok Sabha je dissolve to ngasai mamangi classing da koin hai gre Rajya Sabha di magi rotating seats ki system magi makhada permanent fixture malai Rajya Sabha di masai dissolve to ya de ma de ko adoga Lok Sabha di dissolve to ya adana the president has to accept the advice of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister na ngasai president da Lok Sabha se masi dissolve to na fari haibagi recommendation thara ba masi workers se la aga ding ngasai president na matu yada ban ngamde ko aduga na sai sigi dissolve to ngambagi Lok Sabha dissolve to ngambagi power si Prime Minister da laibani na Prime Minister na opposition gi side se ju control to ba ko ngami halu dunia ko indirectly or directly ngasai Prime Minister na ngasai opposition ju control to ngame opposition as Prime Minister yana da ba pagi lenga sem yaw da ba kamu du odini adu ngasai Lok Sabha da pham du jidi ngasai ruling ki party suni opposition ki party suni da Lok Sabha se dissolve to ngame power se Prime Minister da lai ra na Prime Minister opposition se power control to ngame as the head of the government, the president the high powers in the Chief Justice, the judges of the Supreme Court, High Court, the Attorney General, chiefs of the Army, Navy, Air Force, governors, MSC, high president going appoint to have any other high appointments Miamset. Kanaka the same Thailand of the Prime Minister na President Maming the have Prime Minister's control over the administration, including the intelligence agencies and administrative wings. Prime Minister controls it. Langar pagi yam na maru iba thawdang lo iba pagi intelligence agencies singko pagi say intelligence bureau, bureau, CID, CBI, the say external we can haga na pagi research and analysis wing law kind of labor may say the military intelligence. While the army say we can know the Prime Minister in my powers, power and influence labor. In several instances, the general elections in most democratic systems virtually become an election of the leader, and it is interpreted as a popular mandate. And the general election, is the same idea leader of Kanana Prime Minister, we didn't know why we were from the Prime Minister, we were having as I get over, Mikhalugi, we maintain a popular mandate with the name of. And now the president and the prime minister, so they the president and prime minister can also manner propaganda. Prime minister is na president da council of minister na toriba lenga ki thabak thoram me amadagi law assembly legislation me amsi ko ni pau phona ba communicate to ko adagi atopa lenga ka mai leina ba thabak thoram me amsi gi wafam jida ko ni maroi ba information ki pau se president da ko ni yohan ba ko President of Pamagadipa. If the president so requires to submit for the consideration of the council minister any matter on which a decision has been taken by a minister but which has not been considered by the council. And then the president and prime minister policy minor real executive policy president the P in higher Masagi, the same Naragadi, president the policy like the Magi. Same by real executive powers of the Prime Minister, the Magi Council of Ministers, and the season A, and the real executive body. And then the first President Rajendra Prasad, Mazna British Convention, Tugayakanda, head of the state, for the you of Hamjapa, Toganda Masagi, Zara Neruna, reform to Honing by Hindu personal law. Matang the Yanada, they had the President of Prime Minister Yanata Matang, the Payusuma Tension, the Toganda Kamina Togayakanda. Prime Minister season real executive power even in mana Pamado minus a Tayavan, the British Convention, they don't mean the other Saliba. Adana CD, Sideda, Michelle Zika.